A 72-year-old patient once sat across from me and said, "Dr. Morgan, I've been doing it the same way for 50 years, but lately something feels wrong." He wasn't sick, he wasn't on new medication, but what was quietly harming his health, his heart, his prostate, even his ability to feel, was the way he was masturbating. Not the act itself, but how he was doing it. And like so many older men, he had no idea it was slowly damaging his body. I'm Dr. Daniel Morgan, a urologist with over 12 years of experience helping men over 60 maintain strength, circulation, and confidence, without shame, pills, or confusion. You've been told masturbation is healthy, and it can be, when done right. But after 60, certain private habits can quietly become harmful without a single warning sign. In this video, I'll reveal the 7 masturbation mistakes older men make, and how to fix them before they affect your energy, your performance, or your long-term health. And trust me, mistake number 6 is the one almost every man gets wrong. Let's get started. Before we dive in, take a second to subscribe and turn on the bell. I share real medical insights from men over 60 every week. And in the comments, tell me, where are you watching from? I always love hearing from our community around the world. Now let's start with the first mistake, one that silently reshapes how your brain and body experience pleasure. Mistake 1, using porn as the primary stimulus over the years. I've had countless men in their late 60s and 70s sit across from me with the same quiet confession. "Doc, I can't feel much anymore, and I don't know why. They're not broken, they're overstimulated." Here's what most men don't realize. After 60, your brain's dopamine system, the system responsible for pleasure, motivation, and satisfaction, becomes less flexible. It doesn't bounce back the way it used to. When you rely on constant, high-intensity adult content, your brain gets flooded with stimulation it was never designed to handle at that volume and speed. Clip after clip, novelty after novelty. Your brain adapts by numbing itself down. So even when your body is physically healthy, your brain stops responding the way it once did. Real touch starts to feel dull. Intimacy feels distant. Pleasure becomes mechanical, disconnected, almost lifeless. And what's worse, most men chalk it up to aging. They assume this is just what getting older looks like. It's not. What they're experiencing is dopamine fatigue. That's your brain signaling, loud and clear, that it can no longer keep pace with this level of artificial excitement. If you've noticed that your sensitivity has faded, or that your interest has quietly dropped off, this may be the reason. The fix is straightforward, but it requires discipline. Take a 14-day break from visual stimulation entirely. Relearn pleasure through touch, through breath, through genuine presence in your own body. Let your nervous system remember what natural arousal actually feels like, not the endless dopamine scroll of screen-based stimulation. And speaking of habits that look harmless but aren't, the next mistake is about something as simple as where most older men choose to do it. Mistake 2, masturbating while sitting on the toilet. I know it sounds harmless, convenient even. For many older men, the bathroom becomes their most private space. The door locks, no interruptions, a place that feels safe and off limits from the rest of the world. But here's the hidden danger that most men never consider. That posture, hunched forward, sitting compressed for extended periods, restricts blood flow to your pelvic region. And after 60, circulation is everything. Blood flow supports your prostate, your erection strength, and your bladder function. But when you compress the arteries and nerves in that area, especially during arousal, you quietly damage the very systems that are supposed to keep you healthy. I've seen this pattern repeatedly in my clinic. Men who develop groin aches, weak urinary flow, post-urination dribbling, or pelvic tension, and never connect it to a habit they've had for decades. The position they thought was private and safe was slowly working against them. Your pelvic region needs space, movement, and openness to stay healthy. So next time, step away from that posture. Try standing, reclining, or lying down comfortably. Give your body room to breathe. Your prostate will thank you for it. And if that surprised you, the next mistake is even more widespread, and it has nothing to do with position. It's about pace. Mistake 3. Rushing the experience. One of the most damaging habits I encounter in older men is treating self-pleasure like a task to be crossed off a list. Let's just get it done. I hear that sentiment, sometimes explicitly, sometimes in the way men describe the experience, more often than I should. But when you rush, you send your nervous system entirely the wrong signal. Your heart rate spikes too fast. Blood vessels constrict. Your body never enters the calm, parasympathetically driven state that allows healing hormones to release and mood to lift genuinely. You may reach climax, but your body doesn't receive the true physiological benefit of that release. Instead of feeling satisfied, you feel drained. Instead of energized, you feel hollow. And over time, that repeated pattern rewires how your brain understands pleasure. It becomes shallow, disconnected, something to endure rather than experience. You begin to lose sensitivity, stamina, and genuine interest. The solution is intentional deceleration. Slow the process down. Let each moment be deliberate. After 60, your nervous system responds best to calm, unhurried stimulation, not rapid tension and release. There's no finish line to chase anymore. The value is in the connection with your own body, your breath, your awareness. And speaking of connection, the next mistake involves a part of your body that most men have completely ignored their entire lives, yet it controls everything from your erections to your bladder. Mistake 4. Ignoring the pelvic floor. Most men have never heard the phrase pelvic floor, and yet it is one of the most important muscle groups in the male body, particularly as you age. It sits beneath your bladder, your prostate, and your sexual organs. It is the physical foundation that controls erection strength, orgasm intensity, urinary control, and overall pelvic stability. When it weakens, everything above it deteriorates with it. I once worked with a 68-year-old man, a retired firefighter, physically active, good diet, no major health complaints. But his sexual function had declined noticeably, and he couldn't explain it. After a thorough evaluation, the answer was clear: a chronically weakened pelvic floor. Years of sitting for long periods, chronic stress, and complete disconnection from that region had caused the foundation to erode quietly over time. And here's the problem with how most men masturbate: they never engage those muscles at all. Worse, some unconsciously bear down or hold tension in ways that actively weaken the pelvic floor further. That's a significant contributor to post-urination dribbling, weaker erections, and reduced sensation. The correction is pelvic floor activation, and it's simpler than most men expect. During arousal, gently contract the same muscles you would use to stop the flow of urine midstream. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds, then release fully and consciously. Repeat this with intention throughout the experience. Over time, this builds awareness, muscle tone, and improves circulation to the entire pelvic region. With consistency, men report meaningful improvements in both control and confidence. And that brings us to the question most men wonder about quietly, but rarely ask out loud. Mistake 5. Getting frequency wrong. Too high or too low. This is a topic that makes many men uncomfortable. Some worry they're doing it too often. Others realize they've gone weeks or months without, and they're not sure if that's a problem. Here's the medical truth. Delivered plainly, both extremes carry real consequences. Too frequent, and your prostate can become chronically irritated. Your energy reserves deplete. Recovery slows. What should be a moment of renewal becomes a routine that leaves you feeling more fatigued than before. Too infrequent, and you risk the opposite kind of damage: stagnation, poor pelvic blood flow, nerve dullness from lack of healthy stimulation, in some cases, a gradual atrophy from simple disuse. The body was designed for rhythm and regularity, not sustained extremes in either direction. Based on my clinical experience, most men over 60 find the healthiest balance at 1 to 2 times per week, done with awareness, intention, and adequate rest in between. That rhythm supports hormonal equilibrium, maintains healthy blood flow, and prevents both the depletion of excess and the stagnation of neglect. This is not a rigid rule. It's a framework for listening to your own body. Because at this stage in life, your body communicates in quieter signals. Your job is simply to pay attention. But even if your frequency is perfectly calibrated, there's one mistake that can undo all of it. And this is the one almost nobody suspects. Mistake 6. Using too much pressure or force. This is, without question, one of the most physically damaging yet routinely overlooked habits I see in older men. And the pattern that produces it is entirely understandable, even if the outcome is harmful. As sensitivity naturally decreases with age, the instinctive response is to compensate, to grip tighter, press harder. Use rougher friction to feel something. It feels logical. But that instinct works directly against you. The nerve fibers in penile tissue are extraordinarily delicate. Years of excessive pressure, friction, and force can lead to microscopic tears in the tissue, the gradual formation of scar tissue, a loss of elasticity, and in some cases, a progressive curvature of the penis known as Peyronie's disease. I have treated men who lost sensation, not because of age, but because of years of mechanical trauma they had no idea they were inflicting on themselves. Force does not restore sensitivity, it systematically destroys it. Beyond the physical damage, this habit rewires the brain's relationship with pleasure. When arousal becomes something you have to fight through rather than relax into, your body responds with tension, constriction, and a blockage of the very hormonal and circulatory processes that make the experience satisfying. Gentleness is not weakness here, it is precision. Your body responds to patience and care, treat it accordingly. And that brings us to the final mistake. One that isn't physical at all, it's emotional. And in many ways, it may be the most consequential of everything we've discussed. Mistake 7, masturbating without emotion, connection, or intention. This is the one that, as a physician who genuinely cares about men's long-term health, concerns me the most. Over time, many older men describe a quiet drift. Self-pleasure becomes routine, mechanical, something that happens in silence, without feeling, without presence. It's no longer about pleasure or renewal. It's habit. Sometimes, it's loneliness filling a space that nothing else is occupying. But when masturbation loses its emotional dimension, it also loses its healing potential. Your brain stops producing oxytocin, the neurochemical responsible for connection, calm, and emotional regulation. Dopamine no longer replenishes motivation and vitality the way it's designed to. You may reach climax, but the minutes afterward feel hollow instead of restful. That is not aging, that is disconnection from your own body, your own experience, your own life. What I want men to understand is this: even solo touch can carry meaning. It can be a moment of deliberate gratitude for a body that has carried you through decades. A conscious reconnection with your own vitality, your breath, your physical presence. Not an escape from the world, but a return to yourself. When you bring emotional awareness and genuine intention back into that space, something shifts. Your nervous system begins to heal in ways that no medication can replicate. Cortisol drops, oxytocin rises, the body exhales, and you feel, perhaps for the first time in years, like the experience actually meant something. Your body is still yours. It still responds. It still matters. Honor it with the same intentionality you bring to the parts of your health you take seriously. Bringing it all together now that we've walked through all 7 mistakes, let's close with a clear, actionable framework you can put to use immediately. First, cut down on visual overstimulation. Pull your attention away from screens and redirect it toward physical sensation and your own imagination. Give your dopamine system the reset it's been asking for. Second, change your environment. Avoid the toilet and any posture that compresses the pelvis. Choose a position that allows your body to open, lying down, reclining, or standing comfortably. Third, slow the entire process down. Treat this as time for your body, not a task to complete. Breathe, be present. Let the experience unfold at a pace your nervous system can actually benefit from. Fourth, begin engaging your pelvic floor actively. Use the contraction and release technique during arousal. Make it a consistent practice. It will change how your body functions in more ways than just this one. Fifth, find your personal rhythm, 1 to 2 times per week for most men, and protect it. Not as a rigid rule, but as a signal that you're treating your body with consistency and care. Sixth, use only gentle, appropriate pressure. Anything that would classify as force is working against you. Patience and lightness are the tools that restore sensitivity, not override it. And seventh, bring yourself, emotionally, mentally, into the experience. Stay present. Let it matter. Let it be a genuine moment of reconnection with the body you live in every single day. These are not complicated changes, but they are meaningful ones. And for men over 60, meaningful changes made consistently are what the difference between stagnation and genuine vitality looks like. I'm Dr. Daniel Morgan. If this video helped you see something you hadn't considered before, share it with a man in your life who might need to hear it. Drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 mistakes surprised you most. And if you have a question you've been too uncomfortable to ask your own doctor, leave it in the comments. I read them. This community deserves real answers, delivered without judgment. Take care of yourself. Your body has brought you this far. Treat it accordingly.